YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look at this absolutely gorgeous helicopter. It is the Bell 407. 4 blades. Yes, we adorned ours with these things and those black tapes. And we also put on this little tail hook thingy that's gonna protect our rotor, our tail rotor. Of course, the tailplane will automatically do that. But just wanted to be full disclosure with you. We printed those on a 3D printer. We're gonna show you how this works. With or without the adornments, it should work about the same. But without further ado, we're gonna lay it down. We're gonna let it get GPS locked, show you the entire process, start to finish if you wanna watch the Unbox build radio setup. Transmitter's already on. Gonna press down here, unlatch the lid, and then I have Velcroed this in. We moved our lead that goes to the tail rotor so it doesn't overheat, excuse me, not overheat, but damage the wire, okay? This has an ACE controller. We're gonna put the lid back on. The ACE controller is a new style, and it has some lights on the side, okay? So I'm just gonna push that back, drop it down, make sure it's clipped. Make sure when you put these in, they're quick release, that they're all pulled out, okay? We'll go through all of it in the Unbox build radio setup. Purple. Remember, you've got stop, soft, normal, sport, home, GPS, ATT, off, and C-turn, okay? So those lights will eventually be green and red, and then you're gonna know you're good to go. There's also a downward facing LED on the tail. It's kind of favoring to one side versus the other. Camera crew over here, you can see the light. Come back, 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 back. You see the blue light in the passenger, well, it's the driver's side, but it's on the passenger window. That is so gorgeous. Come back a lot. Yes, so good. All right, so when it's blue, I don't believe we have GPS lock yet, okay? It's gonna go to green, okay? And it does take a little bit longer the first time we've heard. We don't know if that's always true or not, but that's what we've experienced in our personal experience. That being said, nothing moves. Now we're in GPS, okay? You can see it move now. And at ATT, you can see it move. But if you're in home, it's different looking, okay? So from home, it should go to green, and you can see it's a solid blue right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get, oh, there's another light. Okay, so sometimes when we actuate the GPS and then back to home, that seems to encourage it to go quicker. I think purple is good. So I'm gonna try it. Stop. Nothing changes, okay? Run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing changes. That means that we aren't gonna start until that thing is happy. Okay, so we'll pause for a minute. Okay, so I think you have to be in GPS, and then you'll notice it's got a strobe on the back and we've got the green and red lights. So in stop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's gone to the flashing, so we can go to run. So I'll trade sides. And we're just gonna let this start up, because even if I'm in GPS and I only have ATT, I know how to fly these things. Let it spool up all the way. Remember, the flight controller is handling its local pitch and roll, but the GPS is handling its global positioning. Give it a little bit of gas. Bring it up to altitude. Oh man, that looks so good. It is so gorgeous and rock solid. Okay, now let's pitch it forward. Let's let it just relax into it. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a coordinated turn. Oh man, I'm so glad that we had our son print those. Those line cutters look so good. Now I'm gonna coordinate my turn by moving the rudder to keep that tail behind the helicopter, right over the horizon, so you can see the light shining through the windows. Looks so dang good, giving it very limited impact. The controls, you can see how it arrests its movement. I'm gonna go to coordinated turns now, and this time I'm just gonna fly it. And you can use rudder to point the tail, and look what it does. It tips it, and so that it looks like it's flying in a circle. It does a very good job. You can also further coordinate if you want by moving both sticks. When you let go, it's gonna stop. That's in GPS, okay? So backward, that's full input. Let go, it's gonna stop. And then forward, let go, it's gonna stop. Nice balanced blades. The thing's not shaking around like it's gonna self-destruct. and I am in run. Don't accidentally stop it. It will fall to the ground, okay? So now I'm gonna go to normal. I'm gonna give you guys a view of normal. The coordinated turns are more aggressive, it's faster. It carries more speed in a forward sense. When I let go, it's more aggressive. Be aware, the aggressive nature will allow it to drop just a hair, even in GPS. It should correct. Man, that looks so dang good, so realistic. Okay, now I'm gonna let go of the sticks. Very good. Now watch what happens in reverse. Going backward, let go, it's gonna correct, okay? Same thing. Now I'm gonna go to sport. Sport's gonna be the fastest. It's gonna allow for more aggressive pitch and bank angles. Even in coordinated turns, look how dang good that looks. And then if you let off your sticks quick, it's gonna aggressively stop. Camera crew, inside pass now. Bringing it lower so you can see it really good. Man, that is so striking, I gotta say. I love the Bell 206, one of my favorite helicopters from FlyWing, but this one, of course, is gonna be a close second. The Bell 412 is yet another one that I absolutely love, and they look so dang good. In sport, it's pretty fast. It does arrest its motion, gets a little bit wonkadelic. Love the strobe effect. I'd like it to be solid though, okay? So now, one thing to keep in mind about this helicopter is it does have a return to home function, but if you have a blue light and you don't have your green GPS lock, it may not know where it is in geography. It just knows where it is on pitch and roll axis, okay? So what I'm gonna do is real quick, I'm just gonna land this. I'll put it in stop just to show you, you can land on your own. Bring it to the ground. I just don't want to whack the tail into the ground, break off my super glued tail thing, okay, on the ground, and go to stop. That is a manual landing. It's very easy. This thing flies itself. The camera crew can totally fly this, and she's probably gonna fly it here in a minute. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to home, and we're gonna let this reset, okay? So now we're back in home, and you'll notice it's not armed yet. I'm gonna try to arm one. Yep, you see the blade shift? Go down to run. Did you see him tweak?
Yeah, but you have to be flashing, I think, for it.
Yeah, because you don't start from home, it is home. Do you guys see what's going on? You gotta go to GPS and then tweak them. There it goes, now to run. In GPS. Now you could take off an ATT, but it's gonna allow you to slip and slide more. So we'll do that next. Let it spool up. And by the way, if you can't tell what you're in, it says right here on the screen too, okay? All right, so up you go, just a little bit of throttle, or collective in this case. Get it up to a little bit of an altitude, and then start flying it. In fact, we're gonna trade for just a second. Camera crew loves it when I do this to her. She is going to fly, she's rolling her eyes. And so camera crew, just push forward on the cyclic. Now just turn the tail a little bit. It's in not a coordinated turn right now, so I'm gonna turn that on. Coordinated turn is right here. Okay, you're in GPS. And then camera crew, just go in a circle. Use your left thumb to turn the tail as you go. And yes, she does not know how to fly, and she's doing this. Isn't that cool, guys? I have literally put my father-in-law at the sticks, and he has done this with the helicopter. Guys, flying helicopters is hard.
He does not know how to fly helicopters.
He does not know how. Now, the real test is, can you land it?
Yeah, do I need to come back over the...
I would just turn the tail back toward us so that you can see it, okay? Now pull the thing back with your right stick towards your house area there. You're doing good, you're doing good. Now just bring the stick down real slow on the left, the collective. And you don't even really have to do that. We could have it auto land, but I just want to prove to people that you can do this without a lot of skill. Just once it hits the ground, then just go to stop, okay? See? Easy, okay? She loves it when I do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to run. We're gonna reset the home position here, okay? By going to home, I'm gonna go to off, so that way all the sticks are up. Then I'm gonna go back down to GPS. I'm gonna turn coordinated turns on, and then I'm gonna start this back up. Okay, now that it's flashing, we can go to run. You'll notice the feedback is different with the Ace controller than it was on the original. But ATT is all we get with this. So wait for the spool, you can hear it, then take off. Very good. I'm gonna get into it a little bit harder than when she was flying. Of course, I'm in sport, and so it's a little bit faster. Also, that aggressive stop can be stopped by going to ATT. ATT is not gonna drop because that's altitude hold, but look what's happening, it's drifting. If it were windy, it would be drifting more, okay? So, I'm gonna go up a little bit so you guys can see good over the trees. And then when I let go of the sticks, watch what happens. I let go, and it just keeps sliding like it's on an ice skating rink, okay? And then you can still coordinate your inputs just like you would. Of course, it is a little bit wonky. Did you see that bird? I must have intercepted its flight path slightly.
Yes.
Pretty good speed, actually, not bad. Guys, I love flying these FlyWing helicopters. Whoa, that was weird. Did you see how it slipped out of it?
Mm-hmm.
I love flying them, but I will tell you this. We've noticed a few like really minor issues, namely that, okay? So that's using the C-turn feature. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna go back to normal, and I'm just gonna fly it back toward us. I am now gonna coordinate my own controls, okay? So as you can see, I can lean and tip it all I want within reason, you know? It's gonna auto level. I'm gonna go back to GPS, and then let's say that I get tired of flying for a minute. I wanna see what happens when I go to home. We're a ways away. Everything goes to solid now. And so it's gonna go to its landing point very quick with purple lights. Camera crew, you wanna switch, come back over here so you can get a better vantage. I wanna see the horizon. It's gonna turn its tail where it's supposed to be. Come back, 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 back. I want people to see the horizon, hon. Way back. So as you can see, it's coming down, and I am not piloting it in any way. I'm not even looking that direction, guys. See, I'm not looking. That is the beauty of this helicopter, is that even without somebody that knows what they're doing holding your hand, it will hold your hand for you. Now, if you want to move this a little bit, you can. You see that? It goes to a real soft landing, and it will automatically stop. Then I'm going to confirm by stopping it with the switch. That's going to prevent it starting again, okay? So now when I'm ready to take off again from sport with C-turn on, I'm going to take off from ATT just to show you can do it, okay? Come over here to my left. See how they twitch? When they twitch, you're good to go, then you can go to run. So you can take off in ATT mode if you want. It's not gonna change anything. It's just not gonna hold the position on this plane. So you wanna get in the air, and you wanna just give yourself a wider berth, okay? Now keep in mind, not trying to trick anybody here, that tail hook is not included, and those line cutters are not included. And boy, do they add a lot of detail. And neither are the black things that are on the rails, okay? Now this helicopter, it should auto land, I believe, but I'm not 100% certain of it. So there's a little hook going on in the C-turn. I'm gonna go back to GPS. As you can see now, GPS is gonna hold its position, okay? I don't know that there's enough wind to actually be causing that drift. It's almost like a trim issue, but good luck trimming it. There's no trimmers on this, okay? So, beautiful helicopter. Hun, are we gonna go over the pond for just a second, or do we wanna do anything else?
Well, what's our flight time gonna be? Because we've already been flying for probably 12 minutes maybe?
9 minutes and 20 seconds is how long it's been on. That doesn't mean we've been flying for that whole time. So guys, one thing, and this is the same complaint that I had with, we did a similar competitive brand. It was a Roban and FlyWing. It was a Wolfbush combo. And they have a similar setup, but I want to be able to go into 3D, I can crash it mode, okay? I don't wanna have to beg, I don't wanna have to plead. And yes, this is what we told FlyWing when we met with them recently at Jono, okay? So, wake up the screen, you'll notice at 1500. In ATT, it's at 1000. There is a different number or a different call out that we're gonna have to figure out how to do that will allow us to do this. Now, if you're at low altitude and you go home, don't be afraid if it goes up, it probably will. Once it finds the position it wants to go to, then it's gonna put itself in the correct position like this, And then as it's coming down, if you notice a problem, you can slowly adjust where the landing and the angle is. You can also give collective input, but it doesn't do anything, okay? Then you go to stop. Just remember, always start from stop. I suggest you start all sticks up every time because then you don't forget to reset your home position, okay? So one thing we've also learned is that on these FlyWing aircraft, the GPS brings them high enough to avoid structures like this in our environment. But if you happen to be flying under or around trees or overhangs like bridges, things like that, be careful because those things, it will not be aware that they're there and it will try to fly through them. And when they do, it's over. It's toasty and crispy and done, okay? And I'm not talking about KFC, although I know KFC well. That being said, this thing will fly for a little longer, so I wanna see how far we can get. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off. Jumping down to GPS, I'm in soft, I'm in stop. I'm gonna try to arm it. You'll notice the lights go to a flash. That indicates you can take off. So we'll give you a little bit closer takeoff. Just as this goes, we can trust it. Also, you'll notice the vertical fins on the horizontal stabilizer look so good. We did not add those, they were installed. And that blue is a metallic blue. It is absolutely to die for beautiful. As you get a close look, we're just above the line of our eyeballs. And so of course you'll notice there's a little bit of wobble in those blades. We've noticed that. And boy, the way those line cutters, there's no excuse for not having those included, guys.
Yeah, they look really nice.
They look so good. They finished the helicopter. Not every helicopter has line cutters, but a lot of helicopters have line cutters, especially ones that are gonna be going into unpleasant environments like, you know, medical, evacuation, military, you know, crop dusting, firefighters. The other one that FlyWing offers is the Los Angeles Fire Department livery. This one, of course, is I think it's like a Utah-based livery.
Oh, yeah, it says on the side, but I guess I didn't see where it was from.
I don't know what city it is. I'm pretty sure it's a real city. It's a real livery. But man, oh man, it looks good. It's got a real number. It's got an N number on it. I wonder if it's the real N number.
I don't know.
But guys, right overhead this time. It looks good. It does everything you want it to, except for crash me mode. I will definitely have to figure out how to get out of crash me mode. How often do you see Brian Phillips so excited about a helicopter? Well, you might say every time, but the truth is, I will tell you this, in sport mode, as far as I'm concerned, keep it. I don't want it. I just want normal mode and I want 3D crash me mode and I want a panic button. And I'm gonna set that up myself. And if we figure it out, we will share how to do it. We did share it already, didn't we, on the other H controller?
But that was on the H1 controller. I don't know if we've done it yet on the Ace controller.
No. On didn't we do it on the Coast Guard one?
Did we?
Oh, there it goes. Did you see the light? Did the light condition change?
No.
No, it just got blocked by the rail.
Yeah.
Okay, nature walk time. Sorry guys, it's getting dark, so we're just gonna try this. It may take over, but I'm just gonna say right now, my strobe favors the right side of the aircraft. I don't know why. It's probably not supposed to, but whatever. It is what it is. The other thing is, I want you guys to be careful with yours. Don't go in that mud. Man, oh man, it's so gorgeous. The coordinated turn feature is gonna take care of 99% of the audience that's interested in a helicopter like this. And so I can appreciate why FlyWing wants to do that. Oh, by the way, this damn runway was darn near used today.
It was.
And we will share an Easter egg at the end of the Unbox build radio setup portion. And you guys will very much enjoy it. I'm sure you will, because it's Aviation 101 here at Brian Phillips RC. Flying along, you can see there's excavators in the background, giant open holes in the background. This is just the way it goes. This is where we had our water lines buried. Did some dirt work here just the other day. And yes, this thing is still flying. The 4.0, okay, so just this is a 5,000 milliamp 4S pack, by the way. And they usually are like 30C packs, but they don't actually list it. I haven't seen any feedback that it's getting low, but we're at 14 minutes 16. we got to be kind of careful with this. I'm getting a little nervous about this.
I know.
But I got to get at least one shot across the pond. Are you good?
Okay.
So worst case scenario, I'll come up and land it, but let's just show them this, okay? Absolutely gorgeous scenario. Guys, look at this. Get the reflection over the water. Oh man, it's so gorgeous. FlyWing, you've outdone yourself, and yet we still have complaints. Watch the Unbox build radio setup to see what they are. They're minor, and they're basically like, hey, why didn't you do the things that I had to do? And that's very reasonable. About this time of night, that's about the time that I would have a complete massive failure, but I cannot not put that little current into the water. Ground effect is different than ground effect over water. Be aware, be careful. If you fly over water, sometimes the consequences may be more than you want. But man, oh man, that looks so dang good. Look at this. Absolutely gorgeous. Going into the trees, checking for the survivors of the nasty car accident or whatever happened on the damn runway earlier today. But as you can see, just flying along totally fine, right up here by the camera crew. If you have never experienced FlyWing, these are the types of trees you want to watch out for, the ones that will overtop the entire helicopter, okay? If you get into a return to home condition, it's gonna go up without any sort of qualms. It's just gonna go straight up, okay? So keep away from there when you're close to low voltage, like I am now. By the way, check this out, guys. Look at that open pit. We're getting that done right now so we can get power to the damn gift shop. That's right, look at those conduit. They're huge, 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches, and 1 inch for data. It's gonna be amazing. If you've never built a big structure, you may not care at all. You may not care at all, ever. But I will tell you this, I care. And this helicopter is awesome. And this damn runway is awesome, and I can't wait to share it with you. We're gonna share a clip at the end. Make sure you stay tuned so you can see somebody almost use it. By the way, guys, thanks for being part of this here on Brian Phillips RC. We love doing this stuff for you. I can't believe this hasn't landed yet. We're at 16 minutes 45 right now, but it's been off for part of the time. You see this, guys? Just waking up the screen so you've got the backlight. 16:52, that is a long flight. And that's a 5004S Virgin brand new pack. It does come with a charger. We used our charger after we proved that it worked, so we could go faster, charged at 10 amps. And it didn't give us any problems and didn't even get toasty warm. But at the end of the day, we really, 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 really like FlyWing helicopters. We just wish they'd give us a better tail rotor that looked a little bit more appropriate. The main rotors are fine. Oh, there it goes. It's gonna go home, I think. It's flashing. So I don't know if that means like, hey, warning, I'm gonna fly up here just to get the altitude right. You'll notice it's flashing, so it's not going home. This is me controlling it. I just wanna see what happens. So I'll just be in a place I can land if I have a problem, okay? That is eventually going to go home, but I wanna see how long it goes. It's about 17:45, it started doing that. There it goes, now solid. It's gonna go ahead and get itself home, and I'm just gonna monitor the situation.
So you maybe have like 30 seconds or something if you were under trees or whatever to get yourself out of...
Which it's nice to have the visual feedback too, because if you're watching the helicopter, which you would be, it's gonna do its thing. Now, the other thing is, keep in mind, when that thing lands over there, if you don't like where it's positioning, look at this. I can cheat it forward. I can cheat it around. I can cheat it into the wind if the wind were blowing, okay? I can even cheat it over here a little bit further because like I'm trying to hit a landing pad, or maybe it's getting gusted a little bit too much for the flight controller. Guys, that is impeccable performance. And then it stopped, and I'll go back to stop. So at the end of the day, man, they have really done a great job. Sterling Kit, thanks for working with us on these FlyWing products. If you want to buy one, buy from the links in the video description below. You'll help support Brian Phillips RC and what we do on this channel, which is basically trying to bring you the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. Just about anybody can fly this. It's not hard. It's a procedural startup. And once you get the procedure down, it is an absolutely glorious model. This is the type of thing, as a kid, I would have quite literally killed for. It is huge. It is big enough to matter. You can see it from a distance. watching the light through the canopy, through the cockpit, it just makes you feel alive. I love it, okay? And yes, we have had other helicopters that come out of the box broken from FlyWing because we've had people step on our packages. We've also had canopies broken. We've had latches broken. We had none of that on this model. That's great, okay? So good job, shippers, and good job, FlyWing, for getting the pins to line up on the canopy. Now, there's still a few complaints. Namely, same complaint, and I literally told them, fix this. That is butt ugly. I don't like it. It's ugly. This is a scale heli. Yes, it disappears. Yes, it's efficient. So we want efficiency, and yes, it does disappear, so we can tolerate it. So if there's nothing that can be done about it, so be it. Even if I get one in there that I can put on for lower performance, I will trade performance for a better looking tail rotor. No, I'm not asking for a belt-driven tail, anything like that. That would get very expensive because then you got a super high-speed, expensive servo that's gonna like blow the budget on this thing. But then you could auto gyro, which would be really cool. And also you'd have the pitch controls. It would look so good. But I'm not even asking for that. I just want one that looks more like a rotor. And by the way, when you have 4 blades, many times there's gonna be 4 on the tail plane, or the tail rotor rather, but not always. So FlyWing, challenge 1, give us a better tail rotor. FlyWing, challenge 2, I don't want to beg for 3D crash me mode. I understand why you do that. This is marketed to people that fly scale airplanes, that love scale airplane and helicopters, but don't necessarily have the skill to fly a some sort of a collective pitch helicopter that, will go into 3D right off a takeoff. Congratulations, I agree with you. I still want the ability to fly it myself. I want to be able to flip the thing over. I don't want to have to fear for it turning itself off in a basic loop, okay? These things can handle it. They should be able to handle it. All right. I also want to be able to go up into a high bank, kick the tail around, do stall turns, stuff like that. It's just what I want, okay? Everybody that flies helicopters is not going to be just like me, but I know that that's a sentiment of a lot of people that are advancing through the ranks, which is, if you're not paying attention, going to be the people buying your product. Because as we improve, we want more. Not just Brian Phillips. This is me speaking for a lot of audience members that tell us these things, okay? Now, do you need to be any further than ATT as an inexperienced personnel? Probably not, but my suggestion would be have an ATT mode down here and then just make, instead of sport, just make sport 3D. When you got that matrix of 2 switches down into sport, call it 3D. Then I can do what I want. I don't have to set up some sort of weird setup, but it is really nice to be able to set up a panic button because I have trouble getting to the mode selection switch. That is the only reason why I understand putting ATT instead of 3D here, okay? But I still disagree with it, okay? We need to be able to crash our own stuff, okay? Preventing your customers from crashing their stuff is probably not a good business model, right? Now, that all being understood, if I was guy on the hook for the warranty claims and stuff like that and all the arguments that come with it, I can appreciate why you would do this, okay? So trying to balance both sides of the equation, I understand why you're doing it. I just don't like it, okay? That being said, beautiful LEDs. The LEDs are great. I wish that they were scale. And when I say scale, I mean on the horizontal stabilizer, just like they would be on a real one. I love the fact that we have a strobe. I love the fact that we have feedback from the lights. I love that they're visible. I love that they're big enough to see. I'm not crazy about the fact that they're not in scale locations. I can tolerate that as a means to an end, okay? Because form under function is probably, helpful on a GPS heli drone, okay? We need to be able to know what's going on. The feedback from this controller is better than the feedback from the H1. There's so many light conditions you got to try to remember. This one is more clear. I think it's easier. The light conditions are different. Check your manual before you fly, okay? I don't know what they are. We should have known. We were in a hurry. Beautiful helicopter. Good job, FlyWing. We still have our concerns. And then also, check out bprc.me. We have other helicopters that we've done in the past. You can check out. We actually have a ton of helicopters now. Holy cow, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But all you do is you just see the thumbnail of me holding it there. You can buy it from a link there, or you can go to watch, and it'll bring you to the video. But just remember, if you're trying to find something else, you have to go to the playlist for those videos. And the camera crew and I have been trying to figure out a way to get it to play the right video. And we have some limitations on the way that our Wix system works. And so just bear with us. You have to go search for it on the playlists, which is a pain. So you have to click on my little face icon from when I was like a kid with headphones on in an airplane. Click on that, and then you can search by playlist, okay? But from bprc.me, you can find whatever competitive offering you want to see against this or more, you know, Bell helicopters, things like that, okay? We also have Warbirds, EDF jets, you know, VTOLs, that sort of stuff, drones, quads, that sort of stuff. It's sorted by type, so you can find it easily, okay? Now, why is that a valuable resource? Because we've done so many, we can't even remember them all, okay? So check it out. But in this particular case, because my son printed these, we might offer a few of those. We're not sure how we're gonna do it yet, but hit us up on an email if you need some, if you can't live without them, or if you don't have means, you can find them online, you can print them, you can figure them out yourself, but we'll probably do an offering so you can give us like 10 bucks and we'll print them or something. I don't know, we'll figure something out. We'll put it in bprc.me/supplies. Where you find the China glue, where you find the wind socks, that sort of stuff, we'll have something there, okay? Maybe we'll have it emails or something. But one way or another, if you can't figure it out yourself, those things really sell this model for me. It's amazing. Small details make such a big impact, and it doesn't take anything away from the model, okay? So it'd be cool if those were included with the model, okay? So FlyWing, if you're listening. That all being said, great model, does the things you need. Some of the frills that I really wish were included are not out of box. You have to turn them on. You have to figure out a workaround to make them work. That being said, when we figure out the workaround, we'll share it on Brian Phillips RC. So hopefully we answered all your questions and helped to invigorate your senses, namely your sense of spending. So you can click on the link and buy this thing because it is going to be awesome. And I think you'll really enjoy it. By the way, one other thing, we're in home right now. I think we can go to GPS and you'll notice that it switches to a different light condition in ATT. And then in GPS, it's green and yellow. In ATT, it's blue and yellow. And then in home, it's purple, okay? So those are different light conditions that indicate the batteries are spent, or at least spent enough that we aren't going to fly without you overriding it somehow, okay? Now, you can also change that low voltage cutoff and auto return to home if you hook up and use the FlyWing software. We have done that in a couple other videos. It is the ACE controller in this particular model. We did get ACE controller software, right?
Yes, I believe we have used it.
Yeah, we've used it. So we have it on a laptop, and I think we did that on the Jayhawk video. It was the Jayhawk, right?
I think so.
So whatever the case is, there's a USB-C cable in there, and it does come in the package, which is USB-A to USB-C. You can plug into the flight controller, hook it to your computer, use the free software that they provide from the FlyWing China website, right?
Yeah.
Because we had trouble finding it on the FlyWing USA. Maybe USA is going to get updated, but we could not find the FlyWing software we needed on USA. We had to get it at the China site.
Yep.
Okay.
It's in the FlyWing playlist. I'll link that playlist in the video description. And then if you have an older one, we've done it on an older, on
yeah,
the
with the older flight.
too, so it'll be easier to find.
And the H1 is actually quite easy because it comes with 3D. And then I just show you how to set up a panic button that I attach to here, because then I can get to that. As a thumb flyer, I can always hit this really easy with my middle finger. And what I do is I hold that to fly, and then I can let go and it'll go back. Or you can make it so you can press it, and then it'll just bring you up one layer from where that mode is. So instead of being 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, so like this switch condition is 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, okay? It just goes from 1,000 to 1,500. Or from 1,500 to 2,000, which you really don't need to return to home, but that button, if you were to bump it, will just bump you up 1/2 pulse width modulation range, okay? Meaning stick down, stick up, okay? 3 positions. In Spectrum world, that'd be -100 compared to 0 compared to +100. In Fly Sky world, it's -1,000, 1,500, 2,000, okay? Or not minus, it's 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, if that makes sense. All right, that's all we got for you. This thing is awesome. You're gonna love it, despite its flaws. And yes, I'm calling it what it is, a flaw, okay? If you disagree, leave it in the comments below. It won't be the first time. But I love this hobby. I am not skilled enough to know what I'm doing, and yet I still want that feature, okay? And if you're brand new to the hobby and you wanna fly something like this, you probably can, but just don't think you can do it anywhere you want. You're gonna get in trouble. You're supposed to have a remote ID installed in that thing if you're gonna fly it. We've got a link to, is that on the Ruco?
Yeah, it's on the
There's
supplies
also a Spectrum offering called the Sky. It's very expensive. It probably wouldn't make sense in this application because it's not got a Spectrum receiver, but you can do that without any receiver attached. You literally plug it into the battery, drop it into the bottom of the cabinet, maybe put a piece of Velcro around it, and you're ready to go. You can fly that outside of a FRIA legally, provided you're not in a TFR, temporary flight restriction, or like a Class Bravo or Charlie airspace. So we're in G, and if you have a FRIA, then you'll also be legal, okay? So just, if you fly legal, you don't have to worry about the problems. If you fly illegal, I'm not your mother. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but I will tell you and suggest, this is obviously more than 250 grams. It is definitely capable of sustained flight, and it is considered a drone, even though I don't call it, we call it a heli drone just because it does like a drone would do in terms of autonomous flight, okay? Have we left any stone unturned, camera crew?
No.
Okay, so with that, I'm gonna sign off. By the way, in stop, you can pick this up safely and just get a load of how stinking gorgeous that is. It is so gorgeous. And yet we have this ugly tail. So get one. Links in the video description below. Unbox next. Don't forget to stay tuned for our Easter egg. It will make sense. Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, ways to support us. If you don't want to buy this, if you don't have the budget, your wife's threatening to leave you if you buy it, I understand. Everybody's got their limitations. You can only pay the UPS guy to deliver it to the back door so many times. Oh, look at that. It switched to a different light condition. That's interesting. Oh, that's like low voltage warning.
Probably so.
Okay. But there's also Patreon for monthly support, YouTube members for monthly support, and YouTube Super Thanks for one-time donations, all of which are appreciated. But if you don't like those clubs, you can do PayPal for one-time donations. By the way, we usually get 1 or 2 takers on that every month. We really appreciate you if you do that. We do get your special notes. I do read them, and it is heartfelt. We appreciate it. You know, every once in a while, we'll help somebody with some weird problem they're having, and they'll send us like 10 bucks. We appreciate it. It all adds up, and it goes to help fund the gigantic dumpster fire of spending that lives over here.
Can't even see it from here.
Yeah, that's right. But it's okay because our neighbors still managed to write a letter of dissent because of the variance on the height. Anyway, I'll get into that on another video. Beautiful helicopter, guys. We love this hobby. That's why we're building an aerodrome. If we didn't and we were just shills, we wouldn't be doing this, I promise you, okay? I love this hobby, and you should too. Check it out. Links in the video description. Buy one. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We have a box right here. Oh, that's a lot heavier than I thought it was gonna be.
I know, that's what I thought.
We're gonna open it right now. Welcome to Brian Phillips RC. We unbox them, we build them, we do the radio setup, we show you all that there is to get you out of the chair into the air. If you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, check out brianphillipsrc.com or bprc.me, and you can see one of the thousands of other videos that we've done, and it might actually be the thing you're looking for if this isn't. My guess is you'll like this. All right, so what do we have here? It is a helicopter, I can tell you that. It is from FlyWing, and I think I know what this is, and I'm very excited for it. It is one of my favorites. So as we go, yes, yes. What do we have here? It is something fragile. It's a product from FlyWing. And there's a label on this end, so I'm just gonna omit that. This looks like the outside packaging. Okay, so we got a little bit more to cut open. So I'm gonna do that right now. Corner guard's installed. Feels like the box is in pretty good shape, so we'll see if that holds true. And I could cut both ends, so I think I'm gonna cut this end. Camera crew is gonna keep filming. Why do you guys show the unboxing? Well, we show the unboxing because the internet said to, okay? I never did quite understand unboxings myself.
Okay.
But the thing is, we do this. We've been doing this for years because we want to teach people what there really is inside of these packages. And since they're coming from China, you know, a lot of people are skeptical that they're going to get something that's worthwhile, especially when they're this expensive. So hopefully this will help you to curb your skepticism a little bit. And also, I am super excited. I know what it is now because I knew it was coming, but oh yeah, of course it's a black and white end showing spare parts on the side.
Of course.
It does show it. Look, right there. It's the Bell 407.
Oh.
Yes! That is so cool. Okay, so we're gonna pop this right out. Hopefully we are damage free. It's very heavy.
It was really heavy.
Heavy package. Oh yes, it looks so dang good. We'll just put that out of the way right there.
Okay.
Probably could have been a little bit more careful, Brian. Ah, yes. It is a medical evacuation. Air life. This is so cool. Oh yes, we have the vertical look. We added that on ours. That is so cool. And it is 4-bladed. This has the new controller because it's got the lights on the side, and we will be showing all that with this new retail packaging, it looks like, because look, it shows all these parts. Oh, this has the C-turn, ATT, 3-speed controller, soft takeoff and landing. Okay, guys, so you heard my So what that means is I'm probably gonna have to go through lots of effort to try to make this thing come out of auto leveling. I will tell you something, and I've told this directly to FlyWing. I want to be able to turn that crap off, and they've not heard me. So we will see. Okay, so there's FlyWing. Stay away from yard and trees. Fly safely and with FlyWing. Choose open spaces. Pre-flight check, GPS lock. Okay, venue requirements. Okay. We need that helicopter, actually. That's a squirrel.
Yes, we do.
So at the end of the day, if you guys really want to follow all the rules, then you will be flying in a FRIA or you'll be flying with a remote ID. Okay. You can look into it all you want. So they have a checklist. Starts with, okay, so it's like a safety checklist. They have some different stuff. Looks like different points that they want you to check out. That's kind of interesting. Scale heli pre-flight checklist. Looking for, very interesting. There's some QR codes I want to avoid. There you go. Okay. So this has the ACE Smart RC helicopter is what they're calling it because this has the ACE flight controller, okay? Comes with some bubble type stickers, which is nice if you want to use those. Whoops, sorry. And then there's a battery, which is the most lame portion of this product. It's a 5,000 milliamp hour 4S with an XT60. And well, there should be a charger in here too. Let's see if the charger works.
Yeah, that's true.
I was gonna try to pull that stuff out so we could get it going. So let's do that right now before we continue. So we have an AC cord. In our case, it's a US plug, not grounded US plug, like this. Short. And then there's a charger right here. Now keep in mind, oh man, this transmitter is in here, and look, right here. The sticks hit the box.
Oh.
That's not so good. So FlyWing, if you're paying attention, you're gonna have somebody that has a broken stick. You'll know to trust them. That was touching the box. It's not broken. These are touchscreens, by the way. If you didn't know, we've used these on a number of different products. They're spring-loaded for the Collective and the Cyclic. And then it does come with a bind plug. Not really sure why, but I guess you would use a bind plug if you're gonna be binding. We don't have to bind these because they come pre-bound. The charger is right here. I'm just trying to get my fingers down to it. It's incredibly difficult to get down that far. I'm gonna have to use a tool to do it. So, what type of tool would you use to reach in there? Forceps. All right. So I'm going down in there, and Holy crap. That is really dumb. I'm like having to damage this to get it out. That is ridiculous. FlyWing, do better. See? Charger. Okay, see how this works. It's got a 4.2 volt charge and a 3.8 volt storage. And it looks like it'll do up to 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4S LiPo, okay? Let's see if the thing works, and once we've established if it works, then we will put it onto a faster charger. So we'll take our Spectrum XBC battery checker. We're gonna throw the balance port in. Looks like 3.8 right on the money, plus or minus a couple hundredths. It shows 0% unplugged, and do not pull plug. Okay. So there is something about this. Look at this. It says the percentage, and it says it's charging. You see how it's got the green? If I flip this, it goes to the flashing. Okay, so I'm going to go to charging. Okay.
That would be storage if you flip it.
That would flip it to a discharge condition. Now, if you guys don't know anything about batteries, the discharge condition is bringing the 4.2 volt or maybe 4.19 or 4.0 or 3.9 down to 3.8. So it's going to consume power. This thing is going to get warm. It's going to convert the power that's stored in there, the chemistry that's stored in that battery, into useless heat, okay? That's what a discharge cycle does. Now we can discharge on our standard chargers that we use all the time here. Our chargers are actually quite a bit more robust. They're more wattage. They're also quite a bit more expensive, and they're not included, okay? So if you're brand new to flying helicopters, everything you need to get in the air is gonna be in this box. So if you don't understand lithium polymer batteries, that's fine. We'll try to help you as much as we can, but we're not gonna go into super great detail. Just know this is called a soft LiPo. It's a 4S, so there's 4 cells in series, so 4S is in series, not 4C like cells, because the C rating speaks to how fast it can discharge into the plane or aircraft or whatever it is you're using, and then how fast it can be charged from the same, okay? So this cable, this is the discharge lead, so there's only 2 wires coming off. That is parallel, if you know electronics, to these 2 outside plugs, okay? Those wires each individually go to each individual cell. Cell 1, cell 2, cell 3, cell 4. And then these come off in parallel to the main discharge lead. So when you wire to the outside most cells, you're gonna get the nominal voltage of the pack, which is adding all of them together, okay? So 4 of them at 4.2 get you up to your full charge state, because LiPos operate on about 4.2 to roughly about 3.3 is usually kind of status quo, okay? Sometimes we run them more on Brian Phillips RC, but these helicopters are designed to automatically land at certain points, okay? Oh, look, it's called the A4. It's got some information about it, and then there is a multi-tool in here as well. And this multi-tool will help you put blades on. Okay, now, the moment of truth. We're gonna continue the unboxing by pulling out some of this packaging. They have a plug-in here that helps to keep this from not compressing upon itself. We're gonna see if we have damage. This is the point where I get really nervous, because we have had a lot of FlyWings that are damaged here, okay? So this goes in here, and they're so gorgeous, I just don't even wanna see them damaged. So before I pull that out, I'm gonna just pull the blades out. I know it seems like I'm taunting you, but I promise I'm not. I just kind of keep forgetting to grab these things. Okay, so there's a giant, like super long Ziploc bag. Okay, and then they wrap the tips, which is nice. That was definitely a good touch. And then these things are a matching set, and they have this little clip doohickey. And there's metal that goes in here, and it's embedded in the plastic. And you can see this little rail that locks into the blades. Now, I'll show you one tip. These things are awesome. This is a 206, so it only has 2 blades. It has this different style with a regular bolt that passes through. This is the other style. You see what I've done with my extra props? And then look at the Huey next to it. The Huey has a bolt through system, and then a little simulated anti-tip thing, which to be honest, this shouldn't be on there, but it's gorgeous. If you look over there, you can see a number of different four-bladed helis, the Jayhawk, the Bell 412, and then the EC 135. And then there's a couple that are Flish. They're quite a bit more expensive, bigger helicopters, and they are bolt through. This is one of the only type in the industry that I know of. They must have some sort of a patent on this because it works really nice and it is super effective, okay? It protects the blades, the operator, and it can only go in one way. Oh man, that's awesome. Okay, so without further ado, here we go. All right, get out of there. Come on now. Do not break anything. You gotta be careful pulling these out because they are tight, okay? And there's twin vertical supports, so you gotta be careful. So I'm grabbing by the mechanism and just pulling. It's tucked, it's tight along the bottom of the fuse and the top, which I like. Oh yes, that is so gorgeous. I love it. It is so, so pretty. And yes, this is, and by the way, we did fly an Airwolf, and the new Airwolf, by the way, what the heck is that? Oh, that's one of the lights. That should probably be blue, but it's okay. Worst case scenario, I could actually paint that blue, or I could take a blue marker to it. It would be nice if it was matching though, because this is gorgeous metallic paint.
Yeah, the blue is really pretty.
Oh, that's so gorgeous. I love it. Really, really like it. And by the way, what the heck is going on with this? It's turned sideways. Isn't that supposed to be like straight down?
I don't know. Is it just a light?
Yeah.
Or is it a sensor too?
No, it's a light. That's just a light, hun. That's just an LED. So yeah, and then these ones are LEDs too. It would be kind of cool if we could get those into a more conventional helicopter light point. There's a release here. Ooh, the release seems like they've redesigned it. Okay, so, whoa, whoa. Also, I just want to point out there's no tail protection, some anti-strike, and there's no line cutters, okay?
Yep.
Couple different details that, okay, we've been saying this to FlyWing. We met FlyWing at Jonal, and we were able to hang out with them. Some good people out there. It was pretty cool, actually. We spent quite a bit of time out there. And we met some of the people from North America, and we met some people that were from Shenzhen, and some people from Kansas and all over the place, which is pretty cool. But what I can tell you is this. We mentioned a few things. We talked about the tail rotors. We said they're so ugly. And you've got this absolutely gorgeous helicopter. Like, what the heck are we doing here? Okay? So I'll just put this out of the way for now. Beautiful packaging, beautiful and reusable. And I just want to point one thing out. Look how hard this is to get this put back together. We get a lot of packaging that's reusable, that's not really reusable. I will tell you this particular brand does pretty good on reusability of packaging, okay? So if you get it in one piece, which we have had problems with, then you can pack that up and put it away. But you'll notice we don't because they're so dang gorgeous, okay? Now, also notice that it's falling back on its tail, on its hind legs. Let's show you how long it takes to build this helicopter. See these? In you go. Light it up vertical. I like to hold those, push it in, turn it, and then it'll latch back in, okay? How do you know which way it goes? It only goes one way. If you try to do it wrong, so you're gonna pass through here, spin it, and then pull back, okay? If you try to go the wrong way, it just quite literally won't go, okay? Because there's this bolt passes down, and you can show them on this side view. It just dips down in there, okay? Mm-hmm. Can you see?
Yep.
So I'm gonna hold this. The first couple of times can be a little bit rough. In all the way tight, turn it, and then pull it out. The first couple of times, it can be kind of tough. So we were talking to the folks, and we said, you gotta do something about these tail rotors. Well, that tail rotor is straight off of a drone style rotor, okay? Now, once it's spinning, you're not gonna care. But here's the catch, guys. This is a piece of eye candy. It is literally sitting there making me jealous that I'm not flying it every time I walk through the room, okay? So you need to understand that having this thing sit there and look beautiful matters to people like me, especially scale aficionados, if you wanna call me an aficionado at anything. That is my thing. That's what I love. This Whole extravaganza we've done for the last 11 years started with me being into scale aircraft. And so my predominant thing is scale aircraft. If it's not scale aircraft, if it's a sport aircraft, that's fine. I'm still gonna enjoy it and I still enjoy the process of flying. But my preference has always been and will continue to be scale aircraft, okay? So let's go ahead and look at this. This says that it's at 56%. This charger is warm. It's not hot, that's good. So we're gonna pop this off. I can tell it's definitely doing something. Okay, it says it's at, did it say 56?
56, yep.
Let's test it with a competitive offering. 51, okay, good enough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this very same battery. I'm gonna show you, if you use the S2200, which you use oftentimes on this channel, if you get yourself one of these adapters or something similar to it, there's a million just adapters like that. So we can plug that in. By the way, that is getting kind of weak. So what you can do is if you take a Phillips blade or a Phillips screwdriver, and let's get this one like this. When this is disconnected, you can take and put that in there and just open up those pedals on your XT60. So if your helicopter ever starts to get a loose grip on those pedals, you can open them up. Now watch how much stronger this is. It says do not pull. You remember that label I cut off?
Yes.
I'm just gonna do that right now. See how tight that is now? Now I could comfortably do that. Now, of course, that's still hard on the battery. I wouldn't do that for just fun. I'm doing that to show that it matters and it does work. I'm gonna switch down to this IC3 connector, which is compatible with this EC3. And then I'm gonna press start. 6 amps is a little too fast for this. This is a 5,000. Well, technically you could charge it probably, what do they say on this? This doesn't give us a C rating, but it gives us a 74 watt hours. So you could extrapolate that it's a multi-C pack. So I'm gonna charge it 10 amps, okay? 10 amps would be 2C, okay? That's a pretty fast charge rate. But the thing is, you gotta remember, when you're charging, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, dumb packs like that, that's a dumb pack. It doesn't have any sort of active battery management circuit. Therefore, it's not gonna balance itself. That's why you have a balanced charger. Balanced chargers are only gonna go so fast. That thing is hot, feel it.
Still?
Yeah, it's pretty hot. I didn't think it was that hot. So it just definitely puts out some heat. When you have a smart battery, here's an example of a smart battery. I wanna get a Gen 2. Here's a smart battery, okay? This has no balance lead, okay? Yes, you can use smart batteries in this helicopter, that's totally fine, but there is no balance lead because it has a smart circuit, and a smart circuit will manage itself, and I've actually ripped one out of a dead battery. In this case, this is the 3S pack, so there's 4 wires. This little circuit controls the charge and discharge of each of the cells. There's 3 in this particular circuit, okay? And then the discharge lead goes out, and then there's this data transmission lead compared to the reference, which is ground, and that makes a circuit for bidirectional communication from the charger and the battery. That's one proprietary style. There's more than one style, just to be totally clear. But smart batteries will keep themselves in good shape, okay? Now, why does that matter? Why do you care? The reason you care and the reason it matters is that these are not smart batteries. Therefore, say you charge the battery, you go out and you realize that the conditions are not good enough to fly. So you decide not to fly. You come home, a day passes, no big deal. You decide to fly, you go fly it, you leave the battery, you set it here, and it's discharged. You're gonna be more chemically stable at 3.8 volts or somewhere in the derivative, 3.9, whatever. It's gonna be better than 4.2. And you're gonna be less likely to have some sort of a catastrophic failure because it is discharged and it's chemically more stable at 3.8 than it is at 4.2. Or at least that's what we've been told, okay? Now, whether or not you believe that is between you, God, and engineers. But I will tell you that the safest way to store your batteries is in a discharged state, okay? So if you wanna be as safe as you can be, discharge your batteries. All right, now, why am I talking to you like you know nothing? Well, first of all, you might know all this already, and you might be an expert helicopter aficionado. You might be somebody who can fly one of these M4 Maxes, no problem, flip it upside down and fly it around like a crazy person. The truth is, you can literally be a hardly know anything kind of RC pilot and you can fly these. Because this is what we call GPS heli drones. That's not what they call them, that's what I call them. So that means that this thing is equipped with a GPS receiver, a bunch of them actually, and all sorts of equipment that check its altitude, its pitch and roll, its physical position in 3 dimensions because of GPS. So this is not a downward looking sensor. I don't know if it has a barometer, but I can tell you there's no downward facing sensor like we do see on some helis. So if you lose GPS, then it's gonna be doing something for altitude hold. ATT is one of the modes. That stands for altitude hold. Stay there, please. So we've got home, GPS, and ATT. Those are the 3 main modes. ATT is gonna allow you to move this way, forward and backward, left and right, and it's gonna hold the altitude position for you when you're not commanding and controlling the stick, okay? GPS is gonna hold all the axis, okay? So when you go from GPS to ATT, it's gonna allow you to let go, and instead of arresting its motion, like flying along and holding still, it's just gonna keep slipping and sliding like it's on an ice, you know, like it's a skater on ice, okay? But when you go to GPS, it's gonna hold this position as soon as you stop giving it a command to go forward, backward, up, down, left, right, any of that stuff. Now, it's always gonna auto level as configured, but there are ways around that, okay? So just to be clear, it's not gonna be soft, normal, and sport. There is no combination that's gonna make it so you can flip this thing upside down. But also, we've experienced other problems, and we've had at least 2 helicopters that we've flipped upside down from FlyWing that have committed hara-kiri. Upside down, motor stops. It thinks it's crashed, and then to the ground it comes with no power, okay? One of them was the gray BO105. So even if you get it into 3D, if you flip it upside down, there is some feature that's either activated that needs to be deactivated, or there's something else going on. And then the other one was an early version of the EC135, which we have had more issues with that because of the tail system. The beautiful ducted fan is beautiful. That's where it ends. It leaves for a less reliable tail hold, in my opinion, and we've had more problems with that. We actually had 2 of them that died, and we worked with the factory to try to correct those, and that's part of the reason why there was a recall on those, okay? We got the 3rd one, and it survived, and it seemed to do okay. But it's still just always in the back of your mind, like, hey, I don't know if this is gonna hold. So, no tail support here. This thing falls, okay? This thing should be more beautiful. I want a beautiful option. And if it's a 4-blade, I want a 4-blade option. And if it's a 2-blade, I want a 2-blade option. Now, you'll notice one of the things I did in my Bell 206, which by the way, I'm just gonna tell you this right now. I love this helicopter. I fly it all the time. And you wanna know how you can tell that I fly it all the time? Because you can see bug remarks on the blades. There's dead bugs on the tail boom, okay? I built this because my cat broke the factory one.
Yes.
I built these because it looks sweet. You'll notice that they're included on that. That's very good. And also I like the high-low. They don't just go up. I built this tail hook, okay? I can't remember how I built that, but I know we made a receptacle to receive that. I think this is actually just a wire that is like a bent, not a Q-tip, paper clip.
Paper clip.
Yeah, and then I also took a piece of electrical tape and made my traction pads on the top of those. So like I said, I love scale details, and then my son and I worked out these line cutters, which by the way, add a whole lot of detail to a helicopter. Now, could you slide it into the packaging that way? I don't think so, because you would have to make a relief for that. So the only excuse I can have for FlyWing, oh, and then obviously the tail feathers, or not the tail feathers so much, the details here. That is a lot harder than it looks to do. So I understand they don't want to spend the extra labor to do it, but it adds so much to the look of the helicopter. Because yes, you definitely can see the disc, and the disc is now red and white, and it looks glorious. Now, yellow tips are a good improvement over nothing.
Yep.
But gray blades are relatively plain, okay? So remember, coming from the scale aficionado, And we're digging deep because I'll tell you what, these things are really good out of box. But I want this thing to sit on its landing gear, okay? The way you get it to sit on its landing gear is you have to have a battery in it so it's heavy enough, okay? So if you put the battery in, you get it in there, you just leave it all disconnected. That is typically considered a bad practice for safety reasons because the LiPo is the most intense chemical energy that you're gonna have just sitting around your house, okay? We have a lot. We also have multiple fire extinguishers and egresses in a bunch of different directions. We do this, okay? You probably do too, okay? So a couple things to keep in mind. Beautiful finish, beautiful look, easy to get ready to fly. Let's look inside. So we tell the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. And when we learn new things, then we also share that with you. I will say that this adhesive choice could be a little bit better given that this is a gorgeous cockpit with high transparency, okay? Formula 560, I think is what it's called. 506 or 560, hon? Can you remember what it's called?
I think it's 506.
And I'll be honest with you, this is probably not what they're gonna use in China. China, it's 560. Formula 560. This stuff is crystal clear, rubbery, and never fails, unless you crash.
Right.
If the substrate breaks, then that might break. That stuff is very effective. It'd be a great option, but it takes a long time to set up. It looks like they've used some sort of an epoxy on this. And it looks like they overtopped it with a clear version of the same. So use the clear version, please. The yellow is extremely ugly. Now, I would only complain if there was almost nothing to complain about on this helicopter. This is a great helicopter. And I gotta say, look at the rigidity of this. Mm-hmm. That's got some strength to it. Also, the pins actually aligned. That's the other thing. Let's look at these. This is the Ace flight controller. Look at that. Those two didn't look like they were pressed all the way in, but they actually are pressed all the way in. They're just kind of longer. LED, aux, USB-C. There's a USB-C cable that goes. I'm gonna try to slide that back. You see what I did there? I just basically took the reserve cable and brought it back instead of having it here because that's gonna get in the way of the battery. That'll buy us a little bit of improved capabilities there so it doesn't get caught as easy. Oh, and they're suggesting that you check this gear each time you go to fly. You see the gear? Just kind of give it a spin, look at the teeth. Trust me, if those teeth get worn out, if you look, you'll see. You can have that thing sit there and spin and rip the teeth out in one spot. So if you have a landing that's rough and like you catch a blade, but then you come up to it and it's not broken, definitely check the main gear. It will probably have eaten the tooth all gone in one spot. Now, the funny thing is you could probably still run the helicopter and it'll spool up until it meets the right resistance at the right time and you'll slip on power. This tail will come out and it will crash, okay? So just be aware, helicopters don't give you a ton of flexibility when mistakes are made, okay? It tends to be a lot like that and then it's over, okay? Now also, let's look at the size. They're calling this 95 centimeters. So it's just under a meter, okay? Because 100 centimeters would be 1/100th of a meter. And yeah, so it's about 23 centimeters wide by 17. And they're talking about the actual body. But then with the blades, the 95 goes from the tip of the blade all the way back. So not to be confused. Now, sizing on helicopters to me is confusing. It shouldn't be, but it kind of is. The sizing of this heli is based on the rotor size. So this is a 470 or
it's a 470 size, but I'm not seeing it on the
yeah,
box.
it's either a 470 or 420. I think this one's a 470. Now, if you really want to know what it is, the way you measure a blade on a helicopter is how you can tell what the actual size is, okay? So it's not like this, okay? That would be too easy because then you would just measure that and that'd be your size. No, it doesn't include the hub. It doesn't include this swash plate or any of that setup. It just includes the blade. So I don't know if they include the part that goes internally. So this is 13 1/4 inch or 13 3/4 inches. So I have to do, I'm gonna get my phone, So 13 3/4, I have to do the conversion from inches to millimeters. Okay, so 13.75 inches to millimeters. That'd be 349.25 millimeters. So that's clearly not what it is. So let's pop this out. So the entire blade becomes 14 and I'm just gonna call it 14 and a half, but it's actually just a smidge further, okay? That's probably what it is. Did I say 14 and a half, just under?
Yep.
14.5. So that'd be 368.3. I don't understand. So maybe they do measure from the center. That would be 15 7/8. So 15.785, I think is that. That'd be 401 millimeters. So maybe this is 420. All I know is this. That's why it's ambiguous.
Yeah.
If you want to know how big a plane is, you go to the plane and you say, oh, it's an EDF, it's 64 millimeters or it's 80 millimeters. You measure from the tip of the wing to the tip of the wing, and that becomes 1,600 millimeters, okay?
Right.
You know what size it is. With helicopters, it's not measured that way, and I don't understand why it's so hard to do that. So, when and if you get into helicopters, you'll understand there's a few gripes that we have just from a systemic point of view, and we're trying to work through them, okay? But that's coming from an airplane guy that loves airplanes and also loves helicopters. And I will tell you this, you may not realize this. You know, on YouTube, I don't make any claims about being an amazing helicopter pilot or anything like that. But I will tell you this, I had helicopters when I was growing up, from when I was young till well before we actually started this channel. But I did not necessarily have airplanes. Okay, a couple things. I heard this cool down. It's at 99%. So it's at 2,198 milliamps that we forced into there in that short time, which is about right, because you remember this was at 56%. So we've put in about, let's call it by the time this is done, like 2,250 milliamp hours. So you can see this is 5,000 milliamp hours. So we're expelling so much of the voltage, but then there's all this too, because we're at, 4.2 over to 3.3 or 3.8 or whatever it happens to be. We're only using this portion. And we can measure that in current over time. It's called milliamp hours, or 1,000th of an amp per hour, okay? So a time period as a function of time and power consumed is, well, it's actually current consumed would be power, okay? So power has a function of time involved. So in this case, we have put in about 2,250 to top it off. This put in the other chunk, okay? So think of it like 5,000 is the whole value. If you fly that helicopter to spent, which is gonna be different for everybody because you're not going to 0 volts, you're going to 3.3 or 3.5 or 3.7. This is gonna tend to land about like 3.7. It's gonna go land, okay, automatically. That will hardly ever push that much juice in there, okay? So when we come in from flying and we say, yeah, man, that was an awesome flight, and I put this on there, what I do is I take note of how many milliamp hours went into the pack, because then I'm like, okay, so this is a 5,000, and I got like 3,200 in there. Well, my timer was set for like 5 minutes, but I went to like 9. That means that I had tons of safety margin before I would have got to low voltage protection or low voltage cutoff. Planes, helicopters are getting better about protecting us from ourselves, okay? But that doesn't mean that low voltage protection, which would typically be a pulse or the motor cutting from full power to like 70%, 50%, 20%, something like that, that's gonna help protect planes. But on the helicopters, these things will automatically return home, which is crazy. So make sure when you take off and you're flying, if you take off and fly from our runway, and then you see out there we have a pond, it's obviously downhill from our driveway, okay? It's like this. We have like something like 25 feet of differential between that water level and that damn runway, or excuse me, the damn runway intersection, okay? So that means that when you take off and land, it is spatially aware, And this will get high enough to return to home and go over obstructions before getting to home. But if you're overflying under trees and it decides it's time to go and it starts going, it's gonna run into the tree above it. So you have to be careful about what overhangs your helicopter, okay? So it's not just about how much juice you consumed when you're done charging, it's about where you need to go to get home. So when you fly a GPS heli drone, there's a couple of weird considerations to keep in mind. That's namely one of them, okay? So if you're watching this, you're an airplane guy, you know everything there is about flying airplanes, you're good, you're comfortable. Just remember, there's not that much more. This is now saying it's done, and we put in about 2287 milliamp hours, 2288, okay? So we can discharge, or excuse me, disconnect this, and we can get this ready to go. I'll shut that off. One of the reasons I like that charger the most is there's a rocker switch on the back. I can turn it off. This thing doesn't have a rocker switch, but it comes with the kit, and that's why we like it. One of the reasons we like that is because even though this comes at a considerably lower price than some of the bigger ones that we've done, it has a charger that works, which you wouldn't think that that'd be a big deal, but for whatever reason, when you make a helicopter and you sell it as a ready to fly or nearly ready to fly, you would think it wouldn't be a big deal for China to come up with a charger, but we've had a couple multi-$1,000 helicopters with chargers that scare me to use them.
And that one's simple, but it does work.
We have gotten one that's weird though.
I think only one though.
Yeah, so I don't know, it must have been a fluke. All I'm gonna say is we share these things because we care about you, our audience. Here on Brian Phillips RC, these guys don't own us, those guys don't own us, they don't own us. Nobody owns us, we own ourselves. You guys really kind of own us from a YouTube standpoint. But at the end of the day, we love this hobby and we want to see it succeed. That means that if these guys are cutting corners or not fixing things that we ask about or having planes or helicopters that sit on their tail all the time, which by the way, not the first time, that Cessna Longitude UMX
yeah.
that sits in there, that has a screwdriver or 6 in the front to hold the nose down. So it's not unique to this helicopter, by the way. Now, you see this little Velcro thing? You can take that off of the battery and just be real careful when you feed this under. There's a little relief cup for you. I'm gonna either go this way or that, but I figure if I go this way, I just have to fight the wire on the side I can control better. And there it is. So it comes under. My suggestion to you is that you do this. It's a pretty good little setup, okay? And then when you're ready to load your battery, just keep in mind that these battery leads are not always long enough to reach all the way back to the bulkhead. They put Velcro on here, I don't. I'll be honest with you. If it was up to me, I would take off the Velcro. I would peel that sucker off because they get warm and then the adhesive gets soft and it's like sort of doesn't work as good. I'd put shelf liner on there. I'd stick the shelf liner on the Velcro it in there. But since all the FlyWing packs come factory installed with Velcro, we go with the Velcro. Plus it's a helicopter, so proportionally I am a little bit more concerned about helicopters. Okay, so you see this? Then take this strap, fold it all the way tight. Now hold against itself, not against the landing gear. You'll break them if you push too hard. You see how they deflect when I push hard? Okay, now can you reach? Yes, but I'm not real thrilled about that angle and I don't like putting pressure on these like that, okay? So a couple things. If you keep this lateral, you can cheat this at a very slight angle and you can buy a little bit of reluctance. You see that? That's barely any side load pressure. When I say side load, I mean, I don't want this to get hot and then have this solder joint get soft and then pull. Because when that happens, done, toast. It's not gonna auto gyro, it's gonna auto crash, okay? This is not mechanically attached to this like it is on some helicopters. If you don't know what I mean like, for instance, this is just one example. Like all 3 of these have a belt-driven tail. Let's take the M4 Max out. This is a real, like, cut your head off heli. That one would cut your face up bad, but I don't think it would cut your head off. This is driven by a belt. So as this moves, that moves. You could shut the motor off mid-flight and you could still control this. And it would auto gyro if you knew how to pilot a helicopter into an auto gyro, which means you're using the kinetic energy of the aircraft to bring it back to the ground. Now that doesn't mean you can always auto gyro because you have to have a certain amount of forward momentum and you have to be in the right attitude to be able to take advantage of it. Plus you have to know in time to respond. helicopters that have a brushless tail rotor, especially a combo pack ESC that runs both the main rotor, which by the way, I gotta say, look at the clearances on that ESC. That is ludicrously tight.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
That is ludicrously tight. What are they thinking? They trust their manufacturing more than I do. Move your camera back. That is so close. Why are they so close? Guys, look how close that is.
Yeah.
It's like less than a millimeter of clearance. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. That is so dumb. That is totally unnecessary risk. And then look at this. We have tied this rotor off of a heat sink. Oh, I hate re-engineering things. And guess what we're gonna do? Hon? Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna use these Knipex cutters. Somebody sent these to us. I could cut my hair with these things, they're so sharp. And they're also really expensive, but I'm an industrial scale technician. I work on scales for a living. And so I have nice things like this too. I just don't typically buy them for myself. Okay, so watch this. Look, I'm gonna cut this very carefully. Why do I wanna cut that? Because that is ludicrously stupid to put a heat sensitive cable. These are silicone dipped. And look at this. You don't want that to get up in this. Sure, I agree with their assessment to control and maintain positional awareness. Here's how you do this. Get that tucked in such a way that it's either A, trapped, which is the preferred method, or B, trapped in a better spot. Tying it to a hot heatsink is a really, really, really stupid idea, okay? So we've now solved that. You're welcome. You can save your helicopter now.
Is it gonna stay there?
It's gonna stay there when I zip tie it.
Oh, okay.
Just annoyed I have to do it. So FlyWing, if you're paying attention, we don't mean to leave scathing reviews, but the truth is this is a scathing review because I've been saying it for a long time and I should have remembered that. Here's the thing, guys. There's a million manufacturers out there. Most of them want the best for you, okay? That doesn't mean that it always translates to the guy making it on the line, okay? I'm gonna take the smaller one first, and I just wanna show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna feed this under here, and see, what's nice about these zip ties, if you fold them, crease them, that'll buy you a little bit of exit strategy. So watch this. So I can take the head of it and just hold it. And all I'm gonna do is basically feed that through, okay? And this is gonna buy me control over where that is. And you're probably thinking to yourself, geez, Brian, that's a lot of pomp and circumstance over the position of a cable. Yeah, well, when the position of the cable is not 200 degrees and it's not melting through. Because guess what happens when this wire melts on there? What happens, camera crew? What do you think's gonna happen? Your helicopter's rotor's gonna stop, and then this is gonna keep spinning, and it's gonna be like, no soup for you. Gravity's gonna be like, ha ha, I got another one. And that's just the way it is. Now, the problem is, the truth is, I still don't feel like there's enough clearance there. So I gotta try this again. The way I zip tied that is not gonna work, okay? I want this to be safer, okay? And see, it should be back there because there's no reason to even have it pulled up here. There's a million ways they could tie that. You see what I just did? That's what you want to avoid. You don't want this flopping around in there, getting into the gear set, okay? And really, if they just got that wire back there, it'd be better. But I think what I want to do is I want to see if I can get this to drop down below. Because all this is an extension cord, okay? See if I can just get that under there. Okay. And you're probably thinking to yourself, geez, Brian, you're being pretty harsh with FlyWing on this. Yeah, I kind of am, because this is the sort of thing that really should have been resolved a long time ago. Okay, look at that. Now, can that vibrate out? Probably. Is it going to? I really highly doubt it. But it would be nice if there was another way. Like, honestly, what they ought to have is they ought to just have all the slack pulled into the tail boom. Because then when they set this whole assembly in, which is how that goes, by the way, because this is fiberglass, you know, they can't reach in there very good. So you've got the wire that comes out, and when they go set it in, then they just tie up the slack. Well, this slack should be figured out into there in a better way, okay? So cut another hole or something here, okay? Do something better. It needs to be fixed. And that's a permanent thing, guys. You gotta do that. Okay, now the other thing too, and that's the difference between Brian Phillips RC and the other guys on YouTube. And I'm not trying to beat anybody up here, but they're not gonna tell you that stuff. They're just gonna like slap the next thing on their mother's basement table and knock it on the ground all disrespectfully of the hobby and the things that we enjoy and share together. And we're gonna show you how to make them not crash, okay? All right, so now, can we fit? We don't have a lot of pressure on that cable now. The other thing you do is put the battery the other way, but then of course you get into this little relief pocket. You have to be careful because it doesn't look like you could get to that main gear, but you can. You see my finger is touching it, I'm spinning it. So if you put this battery the other way, I'm gonna show you the consequences of bad decision making. And by the way, I've flown other people's, we just came back from Null here not too long ago, like I said, as we meet these guys there. Let's say we put this flat. Oh, that's the other thing we could do. If we put that flat, it would actually put the lead over that way because it would go from this position to that. That would actually buy us some distance. See, look, they got Velcro on too, so we'll just do that. We'll see if that works. What am I hitting? Yes, I'm hitting, okay. I'm hitting this bulkhead here,
yeah.
Okay? All it is like the tray that the stuff mounts to. Look at that. The weird thing is, I don't feel like it's any more relaxed. See? That's interesting. There's a lot of people that wouldn't worry about that. And it's probably worthy of not worrying about. I think we're good now. So the other thing you can do is you can take that and trap your wire. And really, all we're trying to do is just give you guys the best chance at success, notwithstanding any sort of mistakes or turmoil that the manufacturers may have put us in and unnecessarily under when they sell us these expensive helicopters, okay? Because these things, make no mistake, they're expensive, okay? Now, are they good value? I think that they're a pretty good value. Are they the best thing since sliced bread? I really like them a lot. And you may have noticed we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in this one room, and we've had more. Also, the Airwolf, by the way, we'll be eventually doing that. It does have retracts, they're automatic. We took clips of it, but I'm not sure whether we're gonna share them or not. It's been re-released, it's coming soon. People really like the Airwolf. It had a different mechanism. I did not like it. It moved around a lot. It kind of looked cool, but that was where it stopped. The new one has the regular mechanism. Oh yeah. So now, Sterling Kit, hey, stickers on here, totally fine. Stickers on here, not so good. And guess what? No stickers on here. Thanks, Sterling Kit. We appreciate that. Our partner, Sterling Kit, on these. So thank you. If you guys buy from the links in the video description below, when you do decide to buy, remember, Brian Phillips RC tells full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. There's a lot of manufacturers who don't like people telling the truth. They just want you to come out and say how great it is, and there's no flaw, okay? No flaws equal lies, okay? We tell about the stuff that's obvious and the stuff that we have opinions about, and we try to do it in a way that's fair to the manufacturing process and also fair to you as the people that are paying the bill for any of these shortfallings, okay? We're gonna try to strike the balance because we do love this hobby. And anybody who's crazy enough to make something like this and put it on the market, we want to encourage people to be crazy like that because we love this stuff, okay? Now, I was just thinking about this little chunk. We never did zip tie that. I have an idea that will work, okay? And it's very, very, very simple. And yes, you will have it. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because I know you will get it with your box. You know how I know? Because it's gonna be the box. Watch this, guys. The reason I'm doing this is because I know for a fact you're gonna have this material. So let's take one of these box tabs and let's cut just a small chunk out, okay? It doesn't need to be anything huge. And I'm 100% sure you're gonna have it because if you ordered this thing, you don't even need the whole piece. Look, I ripped it, okay? This is literally going to be a trap for that wire, okay? So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna fold it in half, just like that. Then I'm gonna fold it in half again, just like that. And then I'm gonna fold it in half like that. So I've got a tail from which I can grab, okay? And then look how simple this is gonna be. That's gonna push down, and now that wire won't be able to come out. It's gonna be trapped in there, okay? I can take that out with forceps, but I ain't gonna fall out on accident. Let's try, let's flip it over. Remember, it's gonna shut itself off if it goes like this. Okay, simulation over. The wire has not come out. That was optimistic at best, but even still. The idea is we want to protect you guys from the mechanical deficiencies that we know about. If we didn't, we would just be like everybody else on YouTube. The truth is, we want to have the best outcomes, and we know you guys do too. So listen, I love this helicopter enough already. I got to put my anti-skid pads on. I'm not going to show you the whole process. I'm going to show you one. And then you guys can copy along if you choose to do so. And what I'm going to do is while I am doing the other side, then my camera crew is going to get me some batteries. By the way, you have to provide your own batteries for this 4 AA's. It comes with all the other stuff, just not the 4 AA's. Okay. Why did they make that decision? I don't know. It must be really expensive to ship them. So it's like if it costs $3 for the batteries and it costs $14 to ship them, it's pretty dumb to ship them. Okay, guys, look what I'm going to do. This is simple. This stuff will leave black crap on. It's going to leave black crap on here if you do it wrong, okay? So find the length, make sure it's relaxed, and then cut it clean, okay? So you're probably thinking to yourself, but is it really that hard? It's vinyl tape, guys. If you don't do it right, it's going to look like crap. Okay, because this stuff stretches out. Now you could actually get a texturized tape, it'd be even cooler, but I just want the look, okay? So now look at this. See, that's gonna be about the right length. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can stick this down and kind of pull it under just a tiny little bit of pressure. And just gonna put that straight down. I'm not gonna press it all the way along. And why do I do that? Because then I can go in here and cut it. And it's a lot harder to do than it looks, okay? So if you go opposing, they're easier to take out. Now, some of you guys are probably asking yourself, can you fly it with just 2 blades? The answer is probably. Do I suggest you do it? The flight controllers get expecting a certain amount of torque. It may not be the best option. So you can do that. You can try to pull this tight and then cut it to the right width. And what happens is this vinyl tape, like I said, it's a lot harder to do this than it looks, okay, to get it straight. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna just come along here, put the pressure, and anybody who tries this, leave it in the comments. I wanna hear feedback from you on how you make straight cuts on vinyl tape, okay? Because it's easier said than done, because look at that obnoxiously ugly edge, okay? So the other way I do it, that works even better, is I will find a surface that is taped, okay? And this works really nice. I've also done it on cutting board. I think I did it on cutting board the last time. So you find a clean surface that's taped, okay? And I know you guys have the surface because it's from the box itself. Lay that on there, and then you can take an X-Acto knife. X-Acto knives usually work. The other thing that works really good for this is if you have one of those rolly wheel things from your wife's, like sewing stuff.
Rolly wheel.
A rolly wheel, what's it called?
A rotary cutter.
A rotary cutter. So you see, now I can press down and actually get a nice cut. So you guys see what I'm doing? I'm cutting through the substrate, which is the cardboard, and then watch this. So I had to show you how to do that because I feel like if I don't show you how to do it, I'm cheating you, okay? So now that that's peeled off, you have a nice, relatively clean edge. And remember, it's, imperfection is okay. It's just that, we're trying to go for as perfect as possible on these scale aircraft, okay? This is a super easy thing to do, so it's like I can't not do it, right? Hun? Okay, so I've got it held with the knife, pulling it in position. Whoops. See it let go? Now I'm gonna take and just pull this, just a little bit of pressure. Remember, if you go too much pressure, it's gonna stretch back and look really bad. It's gonna give you that black stuff on there. Okay, see how it relaxed? Because remember, we're talking about vinyl tape, but you still got to be able to apply it. Okay, and remember, on a real one, it would be imperfect too. Okay. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I think we got it good that time. Haven't stabbed myself for a while. There you go. So you at least got one. Okay, now I'm gonna do the other ones while the camera crew gets some batteries and we'll come right back. Okay, so we had a welcome interruption, which we will either show in real time or at the end of the video, but wanted to show you a couple things. First of all, as you can see, I've got my nice little detail here, and I did ultimately get my wife to the camera crew to grab me a cutting board. So when you press this down, you just take and stretch it out off of the roll, then you apply it neutrally, okay? You apply it neutrally, and then you can cut it with pressure. Because the idea is to get the clean cut, you have to press really hard, and it likes to walk. But that's how you get nice clean lines. So then you can press this hard, you can see the texture of the board, and then you cut it to the thickness you want exactly, but you have to be able to press really hard, okay? Then you can peel it up, just like this, and then deliver it to your work, okay? It's easier said than done. Just trust me, it's vinyl tape, it's stretchy. And that's the way vinyl tape works, because you're using that stretching to actually hold the workpiece together in electronics, okay? So now also, while we had our little welcome interruption, I said, I don't know if I can go without a tail hook. This helicopter needs a tail hook. And so I decided I would cut up one of these ideal clips. It's just, there was one that was kind of stretched out, not working. So I just threw that in there and just folded it. I cut it kind of in half, and I took this thing out, and I just go to the flat spot. Make sure you don't use the texture part, because it'll screw it up even worse. And just kind of unfold just your paper clip. It's run-of-the-mill paper clip. Get it to the shape you want. And once you get the shape you want, then you need to be prepared to glue it on the bottom of this. And this is where it's like, do you want to glue it? That's going to be kind of a tough call. Ooh, one other thing I want to show you that we're going to do real quick, and that is I'm going to take off this protector. I do not like these end connector thingies, so I use the X-Acto knife to pop this little safety latch up. I have never had a problem ripping off a balance lead ever, except for after accidents when I'm trying to pull stuff out of a crash damage, okay? I don't like these, they're unnecessary weight, and they do nothing for me. Some people love them. If that's you, great, do your thing. I'm gonna take mine off, okay? Also, I don't like that it makes it harder to tell what direction you're plugging it into the charger, okay? So this just becomes garbage basically, but we'll keep it forever. And then you'll notice I took off 2 of the blades. That makes it a little easier to manage. We'll lay this on its side. I just want to point out one thing about our old Bell 206 compared to this new one. We designed this tail, and I don't know if this is called a tail plane or if this is 3D printed. My cat broke the other one because it was under the table, parked in a row, and I think she got at it and must have knocked it. The cat fight happened and they knocked it and it broke it in half. So we rebuilt that. And so we have a pocket that receives this hook, okay? And then we painted it all to match. We did not get a very good match, by the way. I think there was a better cherry red or something. Oh, one other thing too, if you decide to do something like this to your blades, I actually taped over the leading edge of it, and that really helped to keep this white tape in place. That's not paint. And then you can take a singular screw, pull that off, and you can move it from heli to heli if you find it to be too tedious. Now, when you do that, it's kind of the same scenario. If you decide to add that to your blade, I'm not gonna add it to the blade because that might impact the flight performance, okay? So we're not gonna mess with blades today. And by the way, if you decide to paint these white and red like I did here, first of all, it's awesome looking. Second of all, it's a lot harder than it looks to get them perfect. So you might be better off to find FlyWing. I don't know why you're not offering them. If you are, make sure we get some so we can demonstrate how good they work. But the truth is, I would like to make this white and red as well, or maybe white and black, but I like the tail disc showing up better, okay? But because we didn't print this and it was printed to mount up here instead of over the motor mount, it's gonna be a little different. We can't just reuse our print. So when you make one of these hooks, if you do it, make sure it's soft enough that it's not gonna interfere with the function. You see, this is not as strong as ours, so you can see how that would have broke, okay? And all I'm gonna do is basically put a drip or two of CA on there. I'm gonna kicker it, and that's gonna be the end of it. So I wanna try to find the leading edge here, see that? And the way I cut this to get a nice clean cut is I use the cutters from these strippers, not the side cutters. The side cutters are too blunt. And so I'm gonna take this back here, and I'm actually gonna fold this to straighten it, and then I'm gonna go out just another 1/8 of an inch or so. And this is just guess and check until you're comfortable with the way the angles work out. So now one other thing that we're working on right now is the very, very obvious detail of the blade cutters. And these are printed from PLA, and we just printed different sizes. So if you guys see this, this did not come with the model, and my son helped me with it. Now, blade cutters go top and bottom, or not blade cutters, but
line cutters.
Line cutters, back there, please. These are sized according to the needs of our model. Okay, so this is too small. This one's too big. This is 23 millimeters on the bottom, okay? So 23 millimeters, that I like the way that's shaped and I like the way that's sized. And then this one I think is 31 millimeters. Okay, and yeah, so I'm gonna copy those two. So top and bottom, they are not the same size. Now, line cutters typically are on a few different places on helicopters in real life. They'll actually put them on the ends of these too, a lot of times on certain helicopters. And it depends on if you're actually working in an industry where you might interfere with a line. Firefighters would. These guys might not. It depends on what type of rescues they're planning on doing, and they will actually outfit the aircraft according to the exact use, okay? Because these things in real life are very expensive. And this is, you know, a really expensive Jet Ranger. It's a twin turbo. Well, it might be a single turbine. This is a twin turbine. That should be a twin turbine, but I only see one exhaust. And you can see where I put mine was right between the windows here, which there only fits one spot, and then right here underneath on the seam. So we'll go ahead and glue those right now, just using CA. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you 3D print these, they're printed on a flat plane. So you might need to use your sandpaper, or in my case, the bottom of the counter to take off unevenness. But because these are printed in white, and this is a white aircraft, we can get pretty lucky and just go ahead and apply it like that, okay? So this again is the smaller one. And what I'm talking about is this PLA stacks up a little bit thicker on the bottom, on the first line of print or the first row of printing. So I just want to make sure that that bottom layer, using the backside of the blade now to kind of hone it, you want to get that nice and flat because it's got a little bit of an angle to it. You can also use this if you got one of those on your X-Acto knife. Then there's also a grip back here where you can get a little bit extra texture, okay? We're just looking for knocking down that edge, okay? Now, I'm gonna glue this and I'm gonna hope for the best. And this doesn't always work, but something just fell down.
No, it was the cat ran by you.
Oh, the cat ran by me? What, are you waiting to destroy my next helicopter cat? That's the way cats do it. Rude and catsy. Okay. Oh, geez. Goodness gracious. We are getting ready for a new bottle of this, by the way. Okay, so this is how I do this. It's very simple. One drip or two, all the way down the length. Okay, then I apply kicker, okay, to the area that I know it's going to go. Above it, it's gonna flow down a little bit, okay? No, I'm not gonna scuff the surface or anything. This is just a one and done and get it done. And this is where having a good eye for detail works wonders. And then I hold it. And that looks pretty freaking good, okay? And that's done. Now, if you want to build that up a little bit extra, you can, but you certainly don't have to make it look awesome. That is so, so good. That should come out of the box like that, by the way. And by the way, that one probably is gonna get knocked off because I can tell that it's a little low, okay? So then same thing here, we're gonna do the exact same application here. Need to make sure we hone that surface. And guys, show them underneath here just a little bit. This is just the bottom of a piece of granite. If you don't know what a granite piece feels like on the bottom, just go to the nearest granite counter and just feel the bottom. It's got that texture on it and it's perfect for honing these surfaces. Yes, I do have sandpaper in the house. I just don't like to use it. And yes, this is gonna overlap onto the glass, so I need just a wee bit more CA on the front edge than on the back. So I'm just putting a little bit thicker volume of CA out here on the tip, okay? See what I mean by thicker? See how it rolls back? I'm gonna roll it back forward, and then while that's rolling, I'm gonna put this kicker onto the surface that I intend to attach it to. This one's easier in that I can just rest it on here, but it's gonna be more critical because you're gonna see it a lot better, okay? And I don't want it to look wrong. Because if you screw that up, it's gonna be really stupid looking. And you see I got the dorsal a little bit off to the left or the right. See how it's kind of favoring to the right there? I'm gonna see if I can pull it over while it's still setting up just a tiny bit. I'm just gonna wait. Because remember, this stuff sets up for a few seconds, even with kicker. And then I'm gonna let go. Oh yeah. It looks so good, it's so good. All right, so when's the last time you saw Brian Phillips RC adorn his helicopter before the Maiden Flight? Not for a while, okay? I love this, I've been excited about this one. I love the
206.
206 is one of my favorites, okay? It just is. Okay, camera crew, you can go back over there, sorry. So kicker, please use a very light step. Okay, so right there. Then I'm gonna take this, and this is gonna be the same thing, but it's gonna be even easier to screw up, okay? Because there is no rule book on how to do this, okay? I get one shot at this to get it right. And then hold really still. Okay, there it is. Okay. Oh yeah, that is so gorgeous. And it's bent a little bit, but that's okay because this is made of a material that we can straighten, okay? Now, notice that that's not made of titanium or something, okay? You don't really want it to be that strong. You want it to just get out of the way because this already protects your blade, okay? So now, if we weren't interrupted by the amazing interruptions on this project, we would already be done with this unbox and flying. So we gotta kind of cruise to get this done. We're gonna catch the sunset. It's gonna be gorgeous. And so we're excited to have you here. If you're brand new on Brian Phillips RC, you're gonna understand, I really do love this stuff. I don't just do it for a YouTube channel, okay? If I didn't love it, we wouldn't have a YouTube channel, all right? That's why we have an airport here, okay? So, in order to finish the setup, we're gonna pause, clean up, and come right back. All right, so I gotta bend this back just a little bit. I'm gonna support it and just, of course it popped off. So I'll just re-glue it and come back. Okay, so we gotta battery this thing now. Pop off the back. Flat blade, or the flap side goes to the spring. We're just using some Amazon batteries. Do we have links to those? Guys, buy stuff from Amazon, and then when you forget and follow our link, and then you need to buy like a new car or something, buy it from our links. I am kind of joking, except all joking aside, it does help to fund our channel. So if you follow our links and you buy stuff that we put on our links, it will help support us financially with commissions for selling certain things. Now, has that stopped me from griping about this helicopter?
No.
Remember, truth is not for sale on Brian Phillips RC. We tell the truth, the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. And yes, that means that certain companies won't work with us. RC. Wondering if they could hear that. Wonder why they won't work with us. Anyway, all right, so turning this on, pressing and holding the power buttons. Okay. There's the 3 modes. Very good. Okay. Very good. Stop and then run, and so on and so forth, okay? So there's no panic button. The panic button we sometimes do will add a mix that will bring this up layers, but you don't need that in this because ATT is gonna do it. C-turn is gonna coordinate the turns. It's gonna tip the helicopter while you're flying. We do that anyway naturally, and then sport fly, okay? So soft, normal, and sport changes the intensity. Start with all the switches up, arm it. Okay, make sure you got GPS lock and so on and so forth. We're gonna shut this off, and then we're gonna get ready to fly. Guys, thanks for watching this Unbox build radio setup. There's gonna be our little Easter egg at the end. You'll see what our distraction was back here. It was fun, it was good. And yes, we were talking about it. And if you guys can't live without these and you don't have the means to print them, hit us up. Maybe we'll put it in our bprc.me/supplies. So where you get your China glue, your CAs, things like that. Check it out. maybe we can help my kid make a few bucks or something like that, because he could print them for you and we'll send a kit, or I don't know. Hit us up. We'll figure something out. But either way, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. So much more from Brian Phillips RC. Oh, if you haven't already done it, smash the like button, click the bell for notifications. And if you want to support us, Patreon for monthly support, YouTube members for monthly support, YouTube super thanks for a one-time donation, or PayPal if you don't want to be part of those clubs, are all appreciated. But the best way to support Brian Phillips RC financially is by buying amazing products like this when they're for sale, and following the links is how they know to pay out those commissions. So if you don't follow the links, you won't support us financially. But we love this hobby and want you guys to have the best experience. So remember, reward those people that are telling the truth by buying from their links. Okay, stay tuned. So much more. Thanks for watching.
I know.
So we had a distraction come up. Typical of Brian Phillips RC. No, I'm not doing it. I wish I was. It's okay. Here we go. Appreciate that. We almost had somebody try the damn runway for the first time.
I know.
They did a nice pass. He's gonna go between. Oh boy.
Is he really?
That's close. Oh yeah. Here he comes.
Oh, I see him. Oh my goodness. The excavator's in his way.
No, he'll be fine.
Oh goodness.
You can't do that with a normal airplane, guys. It's a little too fast.
It's like so steep. The grass is really tall too.
Well, that's part of the reason why I wanted the runways. So that when you've got tall grass, you can still land and take off. It's mostly taking off. You can land in tall grass.
Yeah.
I should have known it was pretty calm. One of these days they're gonna have to be back.
The geese don't know what to do.
The geese are very confused, probably.
Yes.
Oh, here he's going through again. And that is why there's no power lines out front.
Yep.
Not for radio control. Because radio controlled planes don't die when they hit. Well, they die. I don't.
Oh, he's totally gonna land, isn't he?
I don't know. He's just gonna foot drag probably. Oh, he's driving down the road.
Yeah.
He's taking the construction entrance. I just hope they know about the stakes.
We'll see him this time.
The shadows help give you some scale for how big the trees are. We got lots of room though.
Yeah.
There they go. Bye-bye. That was fun. There they go.